Ask Tom on Home Show.
Frank from Manville has a question about a barrier install.
Yeah, it's one of those radiant barrier ones, and this is a familiar question. It's that DIY versus DIFM. Do it for me. Right.
Yep.
So Frank writes, I'm interested in installing radiant barrier in my attic and have lots of questions, but we don't have much time, Frank. So anyway,
Give me the big ones.
Yeah. Anyway, he says, can I do it myself or do I need a company to install it? And how is it installed? Okay, well, this would be where the home do-it-yourself breaks down here. Do I put it between the rafters, up against the underside of the decking, or attached to the rafters? And what is your brand of choice? So I think what this is, Tom, this is one of these things where he's seeing that foil that people are laying on the floor of the attic maybe. And I know you're not a big fan of that.
Well, that doesn't work. And I don't think there's many companies selling it that fashion anymore. I think after 6 or 7 bouts with companies that were really trying to make a lot of money and multi-level marketing deals, like Eagle Shield was the first one that came out to do that. That stuff is all realized that the research done, it gets dirty, it doesn't work, it's a terrible thing to do. But his question is interesting. It says, should he put it against the deck? Should he put it against the rafters? Should he put it on the bottom of the rafters? I don't care. It'll all work. It's the simplest thing in the world. All it is a barrier between you and the sun. Of course, you have the roof decking and stuff in between, but just think of it as a line between your face and the sun, and that's where the foil's going. And the barrier is that piece, whether it's a little piece or you do the whole attic. Now, I'll give you some tips on installing it yourself, and it's not an easy thing to do. First off, it's easier to staple to the rafters. The rafters are usually pine. The decking can be an OSB or a plywood. Doesn't take staples well. So if you have a staple gun, it is going to just curl the staples, and a lot of them won't take. The pine is easier, so it'll hold the staples better. But if you try to do it real tight, the paper will rip, the foil will rip, unless you have a reinforcement in there, and even that you have to be careful with. So stapling that stuff up in an attic that's already built is a arduous job I would not recommend anybody doing. But how it will be done is, and how I would do it is, I would cut all the pieces down on the ground, outside in the yard, in pieces you can handle, roll it up, or fold it, and then unfold it and staple it as you go, piece by piece, between the rafters, curling it and stapling it into the side of the rafter to hold it in place, and just let it hang loose. It's not a big deal. It'll be fine. But it's going to take you forever, and it's really a lot of work, and especially if you're using a staple gun that's not got power to it. And if it does have power to it, you have an extension cord that's got to go all the way downstairs into a plug. So it just becomes something I wouldn't tell you to do. So what do? You hire someone with a paint sprayer, or you can get a paint sprayer yourself and spray it on. Just get up there and start whipping away. Or if you want to hire someone, there's a lot of companies that have the equipment, the big equipment, and they'll get up, and in about 3-4 hours in a typical attic, it's on, it's done. It starts saving you the minute it starts drying, and it's over. So I would hire somebody. I would have the spray put on in an existing home. Forget about installing the foil. People say, well, it's better. It's not that much better. Both of them are really good, so you'll get your money back quick. And trying to do it yourself, you're taking me all the way back to the 70s, and I was a much younger man. I almost died 5 times going into a hot attic. If you are going to do it in the attic, do it in November when it doesn't mean anything, but at least you'll survive without the heat. Okay,
exactly. So that's all exactly what I was going to say. You know, the only thing worse than not having a radiant barrier is dying of heat stroke putting it in.
Oh, even the air conditioning contractors, they go up there. They get smart, but it's murder up there right now. It is hot.
You got a question? We can help you out no matter how hot you are. Go ahead and click on that Ask Tom button. Click on the right button. It gets the job done. Fill out the form. Send us your picture. And we'll answer your question. That's easy peasy. That's what we do. And we post a new one every day at HomeShowRadio.com. And, of course, on our YouTube channel. If you haven't been to our YouTube channel, by the way, maybe you just saw this video somewhere, you go to our YouTube channel, you'll find hundreds of these videos waiting for you. We put them there to help you, and we hope they do.